This is Twit.
Well, Andrew Stone writes in about Chromecast, says, so what is going on with Chromecast? Pocket Cast states they are ready, but Google is not approving it. Plex is still not available. I see no support approved for it other than the initial apps that shipped with it. What is going on? Did I waste my money on another failed streaming product from Google? I don't think you wasted your money.
Another failed.
Yeah.
I take that,
I think it's pretty darn inexpensive regardless of,
It was
no
a
matter how you
flyer.
slice it. Although everybody's, reality is different, and 30 some odd dollars might still be, a good chunk of change depending on who you are and your situation. But ultimately, it's pretty inexpensive when it comes to neat technology that Google's pushing out. They are taking their sweet time, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I think what they're trying to do is really iron out the SDK and just make sure that it's flawless. They might also be dealing with some, kind of deals on the back end that they have to work out. But ReadWrite Web actually asked the same question. They have a pretty good write-up about it. And, Google just isn't ready for the software developer kit to go live for mass adoption yet. They had a little bit of, I remember a couple of months ago, there was, what was it, Allcast or something?
Yeah, it was.
That figured out a way around it. And then Google pushed out an update and that broke it. No one really knew if that was like intentional or if it was just swept up in that update, which is probably the case because Allcast was building it based on kind of reverse engineering what was out there and not anything official. So Google doesn't want to drop the ball. Google TV has not been a runaway success and they don't want that again.
You see, but here's the thing. Then don't release it.
Yeah.
Don't release it until you're ready to put everything behind it. I mean,
that's not the Google way.
Well, no. But here's the thing. I don't think it's got. You're right. That's not the Google way, but it's also not the media device way for Google or for Apple because you can almost say the exact same thing has happened on Apple on the Apple TV side. How many times did we hear Steve Jobs and then everyone else after Steve Jobs say the Apple TV is a hobbyist device and it's not they didn't put their all behind it. We as uber, connected media nerds see the potential of a box that can bring internet video onto your TV and all that kind of the great stuff. And for some reason, these companies just, whether it's the media entanglements and the contracts and stuff like that, but they just can't get it right. They can't get it all the way done. Google's doing the exact same thing with Chromecast that they did with Google TV, where they're rolling something out saying, oh, this is going to be great, and then just running the opposite direction.
They kind of just
I
do
hope
that.
that doesn't happen because then I'll never use the thing. I really want to use it for Hulu. That's all I
use
want.
it all the time. We use it all the time.
Do you use it for
really?
YouTube,
Yes.
Netflix, everything?
Netflix and YouTube.
Okay,
yes.
yeah.
And
But did you have a device for Netflix before this?
Yes, the
but not for
PlayStation
YouTube.
3.
But not for YouTube.
I think you could do YouTube on PlayStation 3, but it wasn't that awesome, so I never did.
And so now this one is awesome, and so it's the
yeah,
solution.
because it's like my phone is my remote. It's awesome. I love it. I love it. I wish that there were more things that I could fling up there because then I would use the PlayStation 3 less. I wish that I could take the media that's on my Mac and cast it over, and then I would not need to use the PlayStation anymore. I'm completely sold on controlling all of this from my device. The more I do it, the more I love it.
You can do all that with the Google TV. I mean, like they did it.
Yeah.
They did it. It's just that they're not put a consumer product in market and have good support. You need to get really behind it, and it's clear that they're like, they're not too sure. And the great thing for us is like $35 was a flyer, and I'll take a risk on it. I mean, we were talking before the show. I got one. I brought it with me on a trip with the intention to use it in the hotel, and I never took it out of my bag. It's still sitting on my desk. Like I don't, I just haven't used it. The killer app isn't there. Whether or not it's because they're holding up the SDK or they haven't, like if Plex added, that would be interesting. If Pocket Cast added, that'd be really interesting. But it's clear that it's not, they just put it out there to see how it would do, and then we'll see from there.
But it has also only been 2 months.
True.
Like 2 months isn't that long, but it does kind of go into that weird gray area that Google does regularly where they release something like Hangouts, right? And, oh my God, it's the biggest thing. Oh, everybody's been waiting for something like this. Hangouts is so great. And then it's like radio silence for months.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, well, but you rolled it out and it didn't do all the things right out of the gate. And like you said, they put it on the table and then they walk away for a while. And you're like, wait a minute. It seemed like a big deal. And now it doesn't seem like such a big deal, but you say that it is. Show me the money.
It's very inconsistent. It's very inconsistent.
Do you feel like we're really selfish and impatient as consumers and we just we want everything now, and we can't be happy without it.
Well,
And if
no,
so,
no.
where
I
does
think
that come from?
I don't think we're selfish and impatient as consumers. I think we're selfish and impatient as being the tech people we are. We have a higher expectation. I don't think I could successfully bring a Chromecast home and explain it to my mother.
Well, and that's the consequence of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
true.
We're sensitive to it
Yeah.
because of what we do for a living, but bringing it home to your mother, she wouldn't think of that initially, right?
Yeah.
Like she probably wouldn't have all of that experience and that time to think about it and pick it apart and say, this is why I don't like it. She'd just go, it doesn't do what it should do. Why doesn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then it's dead in the water. And it's like, why is she going to use it?
And that's the thing is like when we get behind something, we evangelize like crazy. I mean, I should call Google and get some sort of affiliate check for the number of Google TVs I've sold in the past 3 years. Because I've talked people into buying it because I was like, oh, this is great. This is going to be the future of it. And then it makes me look stupid because they didn't see it all the way through. You look at what Amazon's doing with the Kindles. They're making products for my mother. And they're behind it. And they're totally behind it.
That's true, yeah.
So, yeah, it's interesting.